You likely clicked on this video because you've been called too self-critical. You've been told you're too hard on yourself, or that you're humble, or that you don't give yourself enough credit. You're probably an amazing person as well, you're just not really seeing it right now. And if you're anything like me, you might be neurodivergent too. When you're someone who is neurodivergent, you've grown up knowing that you're different in a way. And while that might be something that you're confident about as an adult, I personally love who I am at this point in my life, when you're a kid, all you want to do is fit in, and so not fitting in is really tough. This means that we're reprimanded more. We're told we're doing things wrong more. In fact, Dr. William Dodson, expert in ADHD, says that ADHD children have had 20,000 more corrections or negative comments by age 10. If you have dyslexia, you've probably had work come back covered in corrections by people who just don't understand that your brain works in a different way. If you're autistic, you've actively absorbed those corrections, used them to build a mask to help you fit in better. Regardless of your neurotype, you've had so many reprimands over the course of your life that you've done everything you can to try and stop being reprimanded again. Of course, this means we start to self-police, to know when we're not following the rules and correct ourselves so we go back on that path again. And of course, this doesn't just have to be in terms of masking or appearing neurotypical. We kind of struggle to compartmentalize things, and so this self-criticism just seeps in all over the place. We end up setting really high expectations for ourselves, which we then don't meet, and then berate ourselves for, and talk to ourselves in a way that if you had someone talking to a friend like that, you would be absolutely appalled. This is something that I find incredibly common around my leadership coaching clients. I work with people who are brilliant, who everyone recognises that they're brilliant. I can tell straight away that they're brilliant. But you know who the one person that can't tell they're brilliant is? Themselves. One client of mine is a relatively new manager, and it's really interesting the way she talks to me, because she'll tell me a story, and in that story she'll completely gloss over a comment someone has made to her that is clearly intended as a compliment, but it's not the focus of the story, and it's not the focus of what she's paying attention to at the time, so she just completely glosses over it as if the comment didn't happen at all. They would literally share things like, my manager said that this is exactly how they would have done it, but I actually think I should have done something else. They said I did an excellent job, and next time I think I should do something else. When I stopped and listened to the things my client was telling me, it ended up painting a picture of someone who was actually doing really well. She was incredibly trusted by her manager. She was struggling through a very difficult situation, but she was handling it really well and building up this reputation of someone who was competent and capable. Everything she heard, the things she could be doing better instead. At one point I asked her, do you realise you just told me that your boss said you did a fantastic job at this? And she paused a second and then gave me a bit of a guilty look and was like, yeah, I guess I did. She's not the only client that I've had that does this. So one of the things I do with many of my clients is a strengths assessment, so people can see what they're good at. And each strengths assessment is set out with like a massive page of what you're good at, and then right at the bottom there's 2 bullet points that say things to watch out. And it's become a running joke now that all of my clients immediately scroll down past that page telling how amazing they are, and just read those 2 bullet points instead. Their brains are drawn to what they might not be amazing at and how to fix it. Now, is this such a bad thing? It's good to be continually improving, and one way we can do that, we can continue to grow and develop, is by identifying what our flaws are and fixing them. I mean, that's what personal growth is, right? The problem isn't just that we're feeling bad about ourselves, although I think this is reason enough to stop doing this behaviour, because you deserve to feel good about yourself and feel happy in who you are. But just because I tell you that you're amazing it's not going to cut it, is it? So let's try something else. Instead, I'm going to appeal to your sense of logic, because if you're not stopping to hear the positive feedback, how do you know that you're moving in the right direction? Think about how video games work. And if you're an ADHDer whose brain craves dopamine like mine does, then this is a particularly relevant example to you. So let's think of a game, for example, a game with levels. So I'm going to go with Super Mario 64 because I love it. So if you think about that game, you can actually play that game however you want. In fact, there's an entire speedrun category that's dedicated to reading all the signs as quickly as you can. You can play the game that way if you'd like to. You can play the game however you want, really. You can play the game just trying to see if you can get up onto the roof and see Yoshi at the start of the game. It doesn't really matter how you play the game, but there is an intended way to play it. I mean, the objective of the game is to collect all the stars and then beat Bowser and rescue Princess Peach. There's an intended way that the game developers wanted you to have fun. Now, in this analogy of being overly self-critical, I want you to picture that you're in Super Mario 64, but the world is filled with lava and bombs and Goombas, and you're just trying to navigate your way through all of them. And sometimes these bombs and lava and Goombas are there to tell you you're going the wrong way, you shouldn't go that way. But sometimes they're just obstacles to be overcome. And that's a sense that's like negative feedback sometimes is just an obstacle to overcome, and that's okay. but that's not what I'm talking about here. Because if the world was just full of things that could damage you if you don't go the right way, then you just end up dying over and over and over again, and you never progress in the level, and you probably just get frustrated and quit. Unless you're a Dark Souls player, but you're a separate category of people. But fortunately, Mario 64 isn't like that. Instead of it just being lava and Goomba and bob-ons everywhere to tell you don't go that way, it has things in place to get you to go where it wants you to go. Secret you might not have thought about, or something they want you to see, there's going to be a trail of coins leading there. Do everything they want you to do in the level, and you're literally rewarded with a star. A simple example, but this is actually even more prevalent for open world games, where you can go wherever you want. But we've all had that experience where we've seen something that the game designers have deliberately put there that we're thinking, oh, that looks interesting, I'm gonna go check that out, and it leads us to a side quest or a part of the story or something where they want us to go. Often it's in like yellow to stand out from like the rugged environments, but it's there, it's designed to get us moving in the direction it wants us to go. And then what does it do? It rewards us for following that path. So what I'm saying is that by focusing on self-criticism and ignoring positive feedback, we're in that first example where we're wandering the bomb battlefield and it's just full of bombs that are blowing up at us anytime we go the wrong way. We can't actually find the right way, we're just wandering around aimlessly, getting blown up, getting frustrated, and not really making any progress. Sorry if you're a non-gamer and I've lost you, but I like to think this analogy gets across the fact that if you're focusing only on the criticism, then your personal growth is actually much, much slower than it really needs to be. Your humility is admirable, but it's not really that helpful. So now that I've got you feeling bad about yourself, sorry about that, what can we actually do about it? Well, the first thing is to actually acknowledge when someone says something positive about us. And I don't just mean, yeah, say thank you and well done, you did it. I mean, we actually have to say thank you and mean it, to internalize it, to take it in, instead of just a throwaway thank you that's that. In fact, one thing I often suggest my clients do is to collect these nice things that people have said about us. Because if you collect them, you actually have to stop and think about what they said. You have to internalize it for a moment. And that means that you actually do take that time to mean it, to pay attention to it. One of my clients calls it his smile pile, and I don't know if he literally has a pile that he puts a big smiley face on or whether that's metaphorical, but he has somewhere that he collects this information so that when he's feeling like he's got some imposter syndrome or he's struggling and he's being overly self-critical, that information is there. And honestly, writing them down or getting them in writing is a huge part of this, because often we're easily distracted. Someone could say something to us and we just missed it because we weren't paying full attention, and so we can't actually write it down later. Whereas if we do have it in writing, then we can sit with it. It makes us spend time reading it through and actually looking at it instead of just letting the moment pass and then it's gone forever. And of course, once you have this information, you can do some exciting things with it. You can spot patterns, signs that you're on the right path, metaphorical Mario 64 stars that tell you you're going the right way and well done for achieving these things. And then you can do more of it. And then you'll feel even better, so you'll do even more exciting things, and it spirals into this amazing positive thing. One thing I like to do sometimes is go back to the strengths assessment that I did in 2020, ages ago now, because when I sit and read that through again, it reminds me. I pick up nuances that I hadn't spotted before, but it reminds me of the things that I do well at and encourages me to do more of those things so that I can just get more and more good things going in my life. Also, in those days when I'm feeling most insecure or defeated about entrepreneurship, on days where business just doesn't seem to be going that well, it's even more important that I go back and I read these because it says something really important. Choose roles that allow you to contribute your ideas about the future. For example, you might excel in an entrepreneurial or startup situations. It's there in writing, so I can't ignore it. And then on those days where I'm feeling low, I remember that I have skills and strengths that I can fall back on, enough that I can just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep moving forwards instead of getting bogged down. If you watched this far in the video, I have a challenge for you. I would like you to put one thing for your smile pile in the comments, please. Don't back out of it. I know it's hard, especially when you're overly self-critical, but it's going to make all the difference. So please put it in the comments and let me know what belongs on your smile pile. Let's get it started here so it can help you wherever you need to go. That's it for today. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.